to.
Well, we're going to see if we can get this going here. Hopefully it'll go. Working, rawhide. No.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It looks like we're live now. But of course,
Yay.
again, we're going to give everybody a couple of minutes to catch up and
Oh, yeah.
click on us and get us started. But
All right.
yeah,
Yeah.
hello everybody.
Hello.
Yay. I
Oh,
went back and I counted, and I think this is episode 9 of
oh,
Beyond the
wow.
Book. I know, I was
Awesome.
like, whoa, that's a lot.
Well, I kind of think we should start organizing these things in like seasons. We can have
Uh-oh.
like a certain time frame we do them, like, and
Right.
then we take a break and we come back for season 2.
Exactly. Because like springtime and fall, because the
Yeah,
summer is so busy with summer reading
right.
programs and stuff.
So
Yes.
we can come back in like August or September and season 2,
So we could say that this is episode 1 of season 2,
season
right? Because this is
2.
our first
Yes,
episode for the fallish time. Yay.
yes. This is season 2, episode 1.
Yes.
You should list
Okay,
it that
so
way on the website, on your Facebook. You can.
I know I probably should have. I've already titled it, but I'll
Yeah,
try and do
you
it.
can edit it. It doesn't matter. I just think it's fun.
I'm going to do a test run really quick to make sure that our sound is up.
Okay. According to OBS, it is going through.
Yes, it's working. Yay!
All right. I will say, just for people who may be watching or watching this later, that if for some reason you see my camera go or cut off, that's because my phone is sitting here and I'm using my phone this time. So.
Okay. Right. And I'm going to use my phone for the comments and if anybody is talking. Yay, excitement. All right. Of course, I can switch between my
Oh, you know what?
views here, my tabs, but it's easier just to look down at the phone. So I'm sorry if I don't look at the camera too much. Yes, what were you going to say, Jeremy?
I was going to share it on my Facebook, but I forgot I can't. I have it. My computer set up to catch the video.
Oh,
Oh, but okay. I'll share it after the fact. Maybe we'll have some after.
yeah, I guess. Maybe I can share it. Let me see. Share. Copy link. Oh man.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, I hope we're going to have some viewers here in a minute. We still haven't shown anybody popping on.
Well, that's
But
okay. We can have a good conversation, and people can watch it later. That's the beauty of this stuff. Is then we can go back and comment. I like the live viewers too, but
yes. Well, the live viewers, they create more, they generate more of a discussion, we
right.
can all talk and discuss and stuff. But that's always fun too. And I will just start out with welcome everybody to our actually episode 1 of season 2 of Beyond the Book. Yes, with me, Crystal, and
Jeremy
yep,
Jones.
Jeremy Jones. And Jeremy is in Muskogee and I'm in Chakotah. This is part of the Eastern Oklahoma Library System.
Yeah, drop the district. We cut out the district.
Yeah,
you did. Yeah,
I didn't say it. Didn't I? Was like I was preparing myself to not say district.
Yeah.
So today, excitement abounds. We are going to be discussing yay, Ella Enchanted by Gail Carson Levine.
It's exciting. I want to say that I really like this book, and I forgot how much I liked it. I'm rereading it right now. I didn't quite get through rereading it, but it's such a joy. Her writing is so fun.
Yes.
And I guess I'll admit, I tried watching the movie and had some mishap with the movie. But I got enough of it to know how completely different it is. So, so It's surprising because I like Anne Hathaway, and I've all thought I'd seen everything Anne Hathaway's in. Apparently, this one just went, whoo, why? So,
Right by, yes.
yeah. Oh,
So anyway, but was this the, I think directly after she did the Princess
I
Diaries?
believe so. I think the latest one, the last one, yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, it was pretty close.
Yeah, it was right after Princess Diaries, and I think that's why the director picked her because she really liked her from the Princess Diaries or something, right?
Hmm. Yeah,
I think
yeah,
that's
she's good. I
yeah.
really like her, and
Yes.
and so
And
yeah,
the
I really
fun thing
like.
is, she could actually sing,
Yes, 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 and
which
I
is
really
funny
realized
about the
that
movie.
in Les Mis when she was in that. I was like, oh wow, she can.
Yeah.
So, um, but yeah, so I'm excited to talk about this with you today.
Me too. I'm excited to talk about it too. And if any of our viewers pop on and decide to watch with us, please leave your comments and discussions so that we can all talk. Because we'll read your comments and we'll discuss whatever you have to and want to talk about, or if you have questions, or ooh, let us know what your favorite part of the book was, or your favorite quote or movie. Either one.
Hmm. Yeah.
And of course, I'm going to have to ask you, Jeremy, even though you had just admitted you fell asleep and didn't get it finished. It's been a while, though, but you have read it before. But I was going to say,
Yes.
okay, so what's your favorite part?
Uh, gosh, my favorite part is probably you talking about the book,
Either one.
either one. Um, I think okay, I want to switch to the movie because I really enjoyed the sisters and is it Hattie that kind of makes her do realizes and makes her do in the movie and just her characterization when she realizes that she can do make her do something. She just the look in her eye and
Mm,
brilliant. The actress just nailed what they were going for in the movie, and
yeah,
I thought it was hysterical. And uh, but so probably my favorite part of the movie is that it's hard to say for the book because it's such a what I call a very
mhm,
personal story, and I really like Ella, and I think her character is very well developed. I like. I think I just really overall I like her. I like the point of view the story's in. That's my favorite part. That's kind of strange, I know, but I like her telling of events, and which is strange because I
yeah,
don't like first person a lot. I'm not a you know
mm,
first person, usually,
right,
uh, and so it surprised me. But I really like uh, her thoughts, the way when she thinks about something, the cleverness of it. Um, but and I really think that translates. It's probably my least favorite thing about the movie because it loses that personal touch.
right.
I hope I
It
made
has
sense.
it has that narrator guy that pops up here and there.
Yeah, yeah. It's funny. I like it, but
Yeah,
Ella Enchanted, the book itself is just so driven by Ella.
hmm,
It's that powerful first person narrative of her experiencing things that her curse, I guess, of being told, any, do anything she's told to do. And I think some of the situations with that are kind of funny. Uh, they're presented more funnily in the movie, but the forcing to do something uh,
mm. And
aspect and
then
her
she,
her unwillingness to really do uh, her unwillingness to want to do some of the
yeah,
things they're needing to or having to is just really well presented. So that's what I'm going to pick as my favorite part is just Ella's narrative
yeah.
and overall because I really like it. It's really hard to choose.
It is.
Okay.
It's hard to choose.
What's your favorite part? What do you like? What's your favorite part? Scene?
Okay, so in the movie, I would have to say my favorite part was, oh my gosh. Yeah, you ask me, I ask you, and you're all like, yeah. And I'm like, oh,
Oh, it's hard. Yeah, I know.
yeah. My brain went blank all of a sudden. Um, I think it's interesting that from the movie to the book, or I mean, from the book to the movie, in the book, she's really good at languages, and that's her kind of like not necessarily superpower, but that's her weapon,
Right.
especially against the trolls. And then
Yeah.
in the movie, they didn't really incorporate the language aspect, but they incorporated the fact that she could, do some kickboxing and she
Right.
attacked those
Yeah.
trolls.
Yeah. I think there's
But
one line in there that's a kick his butt. I'd kick his butt or something like that, and she really goes after it. Yeah, I know what you
yeah,
mean.
yeah, Slan and the elf, which of course his whole character totally changes from
Oh
the
God.
book to
Yeah.
the movie. And but yeah, of course I don't even know if she was fighting trolls there, because they didn't look like trolls, or maybe
No.
they were trolls and it was ogres that were tying her up and getting prepared to stew her. Oh no, now I've got them all mixed up. Trolls, gnomes, ogres.
Well, we talk about last time we talked about Stardust and how the movie really is different than the book. This one is more so, and
The whole feel.
it's completely different. Whereas in Stardust, it was some of it was different. They focused more on the comedic aspect. However, the book was also funny in parts. So this one, I think one of the articles I read talked about that was she was so good at world building
Hmm.
that you really didn't get that in the movie. There was none of that. It was just a fantasy world that was there. And where in the book she creates languages for the trolls and
The elves and yeah.
and the elves, and so they all have different cultures living together, and in the movie you really that gets truncated a lot, and to be mainly a funny fantasy, a comedy flick basically is what it ends up being. And the
Well, I
book,
heard I heard somebody I heard somebody compare it to it's more like Shrek,
yeah, I can see
isn't it?
that. Yes, yes, I can see
It,
Shrek in it a
it
lot. What I've seen.
and then of course she does burst into song a couple of times, right?
Right, and it's
Usually at the end they
modern
all
music.
do.
It's modern
Yeah,
music,
modern music. Yep.
in fact,
Pop, I guess.
yeah, the whole soundtrack is modern or
Which
modern
I
music, I
forgot
guess,
to
back then.
mention. Yeah, that reminds me. I forgot to mention to everybody, all of our viewers, but the ebook, audiobook, movie, and the movie soundtrack is available all of on our e-resources. So
Yes,
if anybody hasn't gotten a chance to watch it, read it, or they loved it and they just want to try it again and they want to listen to the music, it's all available.
yeah, I'm gonna download the soundtrack because I did like some of the music I heard. So it's on Hoopla. So
Well, I watched it last night before going to bed, and guess what? I woke up this morning and I had that one song stuck in my head. Um, it was the Somebody to Love.
yeah,
I need somebody to.
yeah,
Something like
yeah,
that. I remember how it
yeah.
goes. She sings it at the Giants' wedding. And I had that stuck in my head, and I'm like, ah! And
So
I
yeah,
don't know all the words.
I realized it was on Hoopla a little too late for me to try to watch it from that. I had a little hiccup with the DVD I had, um, uh, but we're gonna watch it as a family probably tonight or tomorrow. So maybe this weekend. I think since it's school going on, we probably wait till the weekend. But
Oh,
um,
yeah, that's true. What is today? Today's Wednesday, isn't it?
yeah, it's some day of the week. I don't know. Um, so
They
well,
all kind of mold and build together.
I think that this is evident of again they they're the book is this personal story, this very driven, character-driven story. Whereas the movie, the whole goal of the movie is to be a comedy set in a fantasy world.
Mm.
And so there's such a separation that it's almost two different things to me. It's almost two, it's like if oh gosh, I can't think of an example, but if someone very serious were to tell this story and then be like, oh, oh, and this horrible thing happened and this happened and then someone were like, you know what, this was hysterical. I heard this, it's almost like two different tellings from from someone who was really negatively impacted, or maybe not negatively, but more seriously impacted, and someone who was just watching from a distance. Um, so that being said, I do say I have watched enough of the movie to know I will like it.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's kind of a catchy movie instead of a catchy tune. Although there are a lot of catchy tunes in it too.
Oh God, yes. Yeah.
But it is kind of catchy. One thing I didn't like, I mean, I like them. I like the movie and I like the book. And again, it's kind of like I kind of like the book way better, but I
Yeah.
did enjoy the movie. But the one thing I didn't like was the fact that in the book, Ella, she kind of takes control of her life, and I mean, she takes charge. She is able to manipulate the trolls by speaking in their tongue, in their oily tongue.
Yes. Oily voice. Yeah.
And she escapes, and it's not until after she has them suffocated then the prince and the knights show up. They didn't really need to help her. She
Yeah.
already.
She helped herself. Yeah.
Yeah, and then of course in the movie, the prince comes and saves the day.
Hmm. Yeah. There is that.
She's all tied up. And
Yeah.
of course, in the first time that she meets, uh, I guess it was, how do you say his name? Slan and I, right? The elf.
Like,
He's tied up and she saves him. So I guess that could technically count as it, but I still wasn't quite thrilled with that. They had the prince and
well, that there's several things in the movie that they changed. The elves themselves are different. The elves
oh
are like forced into some kind of servitude, and entertainment or whatever aspect, and
that's all they can do.
whereas in the book they're kind of their own kind of equal culture. I mean, there's not really any servitude. I would think, regardless of race.
Yeah.
So it's like they needed to. And I'm not opposed to that kind of story really, but they changed it to where we had an oppressed society, who was trying to rebel, and be what they.
Right.
And
He
so,
wanted to be a lawyer.
right, yeah, he wanted to be a lawyer, and
Well, and it was the same thing with the giants. The giants, they had in the book, they were their own culture, their own society, and then again in the movie, the Duke, he
yeah. Oh,
had them
okay.
enslaved and working.
So I was. Are you talking about the uncle? His uncle?
Yeah. What was
Uh,
his name? Duke something.
Char's uncle. Is it
Yeah,
Char's
Char's
uncle?
uncle. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I don't know how excited I was to see that Carrie Elwes plays. Yeah,
I
I was
know.
like, oh my gosh, I'm really gonna like this movie. So
And I watched some documentary or something about the making of the movie, and they were talking about how Carrie, he just threw himself into it because he was so excited to be a mustached um, uh, protagonist, bad guy.
yeah, antagonist. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was so
And
excited. So I can't wait to finish it. To see it all. But yeah, so it's almost that's why I say it's like if you were to it's like Ella was transported back in time for the movie, where a time where everyone was oppressed, and in the book you have this more equal society that's all thing. I love the characterizations in the movie of the sisters and the mother, their mother, the stepsisters. Um, I think the characterizations, the acting was spot on in the movie as for what they were telling, and so, but again, Char And I was going to say Anne Hathaway. Ella doesn't like him in the movie, but they're old friends in the book.
Mm-hmm.
So those things, and I understand that they need to change things. It's a lot. It's very different.
Yeah. They decided to go with a different feel, and they went with it, which I'm glad that they went wholeheartedly with it. Some
Yeah.
movies, when they take it from the book and they want to go with a slightly different feel, it's almost like they're not quite sure. So it's almost like,
Right.
oh yeah, we're going for it, and then maybe not, and then this one they totally went for it.
Yeah. Well, part of it, and I think it was same article that I read that said that they, from that time of where movies, there was like Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit were, and they were very serious,
Mm-hmm.
and they wanted to be different than that. They didn't want to be another serious fantasy movie trying to compete with, The Hobbit, and so they made it more like a comedy, set it as a comedy, kind of like what Stardust did in a way. It took the comedic aspects of it and pushed them to the front, and kind of
But
everything else was.
they did a good job though of melding the comedic with the dramatic. Stardust.
Yes.
That it was that perfect blend.
Right.
I know.
Neil Gaiman actually said he really liked the movie and the ending better than his ending, he said. So I think that's high praise, saying you did something.
I know. Well, if any of the viewers that are watching, if anybody's watching and they have anything to say, or if they have any favorite parts or quotes or anything from the movie and book, please let us know. Please in the comments. Definitely. Well, I was going to mention too, Jeremy, you mentioned something about Lord of the Rings and how, that was so serious at that time. So they wanted to lighten it up. And I think it was that same article we both were reading.
I think we have read the same article.
But she develops almost, I mean, obviously not as intricate, excuse me, as J.R.R. Tolkien's world building, but she does do a lot of pretty good world building as far as the languages for each thing, the trolls, the elves, and then the songs. There's like multiple songs for different societies and things in there too, like the Aorthean and the gosh, I can't even say it. Yeah.
I'm not even going to try to say what they're saying. So it's just. So yeah, she does have a lot of world building in the book, and it's so concise. I really like it. I like it better than Tolkien, because I like Tolkien, but I think Tolkien, it's just so into the world. The world is almost like the main character of his book.
Right.
Like all these people are not, the characters aren't really just kind of side characters, and you have the world who's the main character.
I like that, Jeremy. That's a really good way of putting it. Yes.
So, and I think, the world in Levine, is it Levine or Levine? I can't.
I have no idea.
I don't know. Gale's world. It seems like the world is a character, but it's not overpowering.
Mm-hmm.
The other characters are, Ella is the main character, and so I can appreciate that type of world building. It's really, really well done for especially a juvenile book.
Yes, and for such a short one to get all of that jam packed in there,
There's authors that I read that do not waste words, and she's one of them. And so there's not a lot of waste in her writing, where they're over frilly descriptions or where they're just trying to fill pages. Lois Bujold is another one of my favorites who doesn't waste. And Ursula Gwynn is another one. So,
oh yes, yeah.
So and I really put her on par with those two on not wasting words. Everything is in there for a reason.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yes, I really like it too because, like Tolkien, she wrote more. Not necessarily that they were the same story continuation, but they were all connected in that same world. And most of her books, I don't think all of them were, but I know she wrote The Fairest, which is the Snow White version, and then you mentioned her latest one is coming out. What was
Yes,
it called again?
it's like Ogre Enchanted.
Oh, that one sounds fun.
Yeah,
You
so
said
it's
when
a
does it come
prequel.
out?
I think it's already come out. It's a prequel.
I'll have to
Uh,
look for it then.
yeah, so it's a prequel to Ella. So
Oh, fun. Oh
yeah.
my goodness. Okay, we have to talk about Lucinda.
Oh yes.
Oh, that is my favorite part of the book. Yes, Lucinda, especially when they trick her into Mandy, tricks her somehow into like, why don't you try it for a week or two?
Yeah.
I was like, oh yeah, go. That was great. And in the movie, of course, she doesn't really learn that what she's giving all these people is she thinks great, wonderful gifts
Yeah.
are
I
actually horrible.
yeah. So but I liked her introduction. I thought that was so hysterical. Where
Yes.
she's like, "Well, you're noisy, not a very well behaved, Uh, I could always turn her into a what'd you say? Turn her into a
Squirrel.
squirrel. Yeah.
Yeah. Which when Mandy suggests that she try it for a week, she suggests trying being a squirrel and being obedient.
Right.
And so she tried the squirrel first, and Lucinda was like, "Oh my gosh!" I wish I could turn to that page. I was gonna mark in my
Yeah.
book, all the different fun places and everything, but I wish I had marked that one place because that was hilarious when Lucinda comes back and she's like, "Oh my gosh, this was horrible."
Yeah. Yeah. Her gifts are the fool fairy. I like
Yeah,
that they describe her as the fool fairy.
yeah.
So
Which is interesting because I was I was interested in the fact that as you went along, Lucinda's all this, oh, just throwing big enchantments around or big wishes or whatever they were called. Oh no, I can't remember. Ah, that's bad. Um, and then like Mandy, she's like, no, 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 we don't want to do anything too big because it could affect in a negative or positive, depending.
right.
She couldn't, like, she didn't even want to mess with the rain that one night, the first night of the first ball.
Yeah.
Bleeding, and Ella's like, oh my goodness, couldn't you just give me an umbrella at least? He's like, no. I'm like, wow, Mandy, come on.
uh,
And so in
so
the movie, they made Mandy like she couldn't quite do it. She wasn't quite trained enough or
yeah, she
something.
was a house fairy. Just a house fairy is what,
Mhm.
or something like that is what she said in the movie. And
Yeah,
so Ellen knows that she's a fairy too, right at the beginning. In the book, she doesn't. It's revealed after her mother dies, isn't it? So,
yeah.
which I thought was handled very well in both the movie and the book. So,
Yeah, there wasn't time for tears in the movie, so they
no,
had to kind of like they show her and then she's like, oh, and then doom, done, and you're like, oh, okay.
oh, she's back. She's older now. So,
Yeah. And which of course, that goes with the whole comedic aspect. They didn't want anybody to be sad. They didn't want anybody to get those tears going. So they had to
yeah,
rush through that.
yeah, I kind of rushed to get that over with.
Yeah.
So, uh, so I also listened a little bit to the audio while I was here at the
Oh,
library,
did you?
and it's read by a girl, and she does really well. Um, and so um, I really like her narrator voice too. So it's a young girl too that does it. She plays Ella. So
Huh. Hmm. I wonder.
really really high voice. So
Oh, really? Like the
and she
mice and
does
Cinderella?
all of the voices for the adults. Very funny. Oh, you know. So
So she
I
does
really enjoyed it.
voices. Oh, that's cool.
Yes, she does. Uh, so yeah, if I had enough time, I would have listened to the whole thing. But I can read a lot faster than I can listen to that. So,
Yeah.
um, but it was good. So either however you experience it, I will say anyone who's watching this, however you experience it is good. So you're reading it, audio, and the movie's good, but definitely the book's a whole lot better if I were to compare.
Oh, yes, definitely. There's a lot
No,
more. And the dad, like Ella's dad in the movie, is just kind of there.
kind of there and kind of the supportive. Oh, I'll miss you.
Yeah.
I love
But
you.
in the
And in the book,
book,
he's like, eh.
he's like this selfish,
Oh.
self-absorbed. Oh my goodness.
So in the book, he's desperate, or in the movie, he's desperate. They need the money,
Hmm.
and I guess in the book, he's desperate too. But
Well, he lost a bet or something, or he
yeah,
sold
but
something
it's
he
more
didn't
of a
even own. So
it's
he's
more of a
like,
reason. The reason is not to look out for people; it's to look out for himself. Whereas in the movie, he's almost doing it for both of them.
yeah,
Yeah, they need support for both of them.
right.
So
Because in
at
the
least,
book,
well, what I've seen in the
he,
movie, there could be a twist in it where he's so evil. But so, but
well, yeah, and in the book when she's becomes the scullery maid, they turn her into the scullery maid, Cinder. Uh,
mhm.
she even writes a letter to her dad saying, "This is what they've done to me. Please come home and stop this." And he's like, "Oh well." When he finally did write back to her, he's like, "Oh well, you'll just have to live with it for now until I can come back," because he
Just
doesn't even, it's
oh
all about him.
yeah, I didn't like the father.
No.
So
Mm-mm. In fact, at one point, Ella asked her mom, or she said she wanted to ask her mom. Did she get to ask her, why did you marry my father? Yeah, she did get to ask her because the mom told her, or Mandy told her, that he had been a totally different person
hmm
before. And then once she married him, then that was it.
yeah, it was different.
And he
Yeah,
only married for money. Uh-oh, we lost Jeremy.
I'm back. I'm
Oh,
back.
okay.
Yeah, I had a phone call come in and I
Oh,
declined it. So
uh-oh,
yeah.
okay.
So hopefully that won't happen again. But if it does, you know why. So
Well, I think we pretty much talked about everything. I mentioned Slannon, the elf. He's pretty funny in the movie. He runs around and is the kind of sidekick for Ella. But in the book, he's the elder or something for that one town that she goes by in the woods, and he knows her dad, and
hmm
they're like, "We're not going to trade with your father," but because they knew what kind of guy he was, but they knew that Ella was not like him at all. And he gives her an really nice statue that in the book is considered, it was made by one of those high-end
right.
sculptors.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of somebody who's like really, expensive. If you want to buy one of their sculptures, it's super expensive, but
Right.
I
Yeah.
don't think
Well, there's
anybody.
plenty of them. I just don't remember. Yeah.
Right. Like a Tiffany lamp. Let's put it like that. How about that?
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah.
so he gives her one that she really liked, and it was a wolf howling. It was shaped as a wolf howling,
Mhm.
and I thought that was interesting because she's not necessarily alone because she does have Mandy, but she is alone in a sense, and she
Right.
wants to be able to howl and let her voice be heard and get out of that whole oppressive obedience thing.
Right.
So
Yeah.
I kind of liked that.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. Uh, yeah. They also changed the narrative with that a little bit too in the movie. Doesn't she? I kind of spoiled myself when I was looking up the end of the movie. Didn't she like talk to herself in a mirror in the movie? And then that's what breaks the. She tells her, "No, I'm not gonna. Don't kill him," and or something like that. I don't.
oh yes, because they're in the hall of mirrors. That's right, and
Uh-huh.
he's hugging her or something, and she's about ready to plunge the knife because his uncle was like he commanded her, and she
Right.
couldn't she couldn't do it. Yeah, and so she's looking at herself, and she's telling herself, "Don't do it, don't do it." Yeah, you're right. Yeah, she was looking at the mirror.
Yeah. So, I mean, the movie did have a couple of serious points, but I think most of overall, it was just a comedic romp through through Gail Levine's world that
And
she built. It's like here's a yeah,
Yeah, and they didn't even kill the Duke, really. I mean,
no.
he was so engrossed in the fact that he wanted to be king, and how could you do this? That he grabbed the poisoned crown and he puts it on and he goes, "Uh-oh, whoops," and he falls over. And then as the credits are rolling and everybody's singing and laughing and dancing about, somebody's pushing him along on like a push cart or something, and he's like, but he's still alive, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So even that was not quite, you know, they didn't show an actual, there wasn't anybody actually dying in this movie.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, I think it was definitely a lighter touch because of the comedic aspect, but
Mhm.
uh, it's almost and that's why I typically don't do a lot of comparison anymore between book and movie, and that's why because they're so different. There's different audiences really. I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, the people you're trying to reach aren't necessarily the ones who've read the book.
Well, we're not really comparing, we're just discussing,
Well, no, no, yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. I'm just saying in general, a lot of people get really upset when a book has changed this much,
right?
and I can see why. If you're really dead set in the book, and it's just, uh, I could see why you would be upset. But I tend not to get that upset because I know it's two
Yeah.
different.
Oh yeah, you have to
Um,
separate them. You're like, okay, here's the book, here's the movie.
uh-huh.
I'm gonna watch this movie. It's not gonna be like the book at all.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Yes. I'll just tell you this. As a kid, and even now, I love Cinderella. I think that was one
Yeah.
of my favorites. Aside from Robin Hood, I loved the Robin Hood. You know,
Yeah.
the old Walt Disney Robin Hood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do, 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 do,
Do do. Yeah. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah. That's a classic. You know. But I
Yes.
love the Cinderella and anything that was pertaining to Cinderella. You know, a retelling or a movie or you know, I would read it and I would watch it.
Yeah.
Even if
Yeah.
it was really bad. Oh, we've got a comment. All right. Joy.
Right.
Hi, Joy. Hi, Joy. She says,
Hi,
sorry I'm
Joy.
late. Yeah, we were pretty much just about wrap up
Yeah.
now.
I think we've solved the issue and solved the problems of the world. Of what is it? How do you say the world? Cu- cu- what's the
Curia.
word? Yeah.
Curia.
Yeah.
Curia. I
Korea.
think because
Yeah.
there's two R's, and so the first R is with the KYR, and then the
Yeah.
last R is the RIA. So
Yeah.
that's how,
Korea.
I
Yeah.
don't know, or it could just be Korea. Yeah. Well,
Korea. Yeah. Begins with a K.
it's just like that other country next door to them or whatever, the AR thin or
Yeah.
AR. Oh yeah, see, can't even say that.
No. So can you imagine that said a lot in the movie? No, I don't think people would. It would fit. They don't mention a lot of that because it's hard to say. There's that world building
Yeah.
aspect that is
Yes.
lost in the movie. So.
And I like the languages, how she did
Mm-hmm.
like the gnomes and the troll languages.
Yes, I think it's hysterical. I think
Yes.
it's hysterical and good because it shows that not everyone speaks English, or human, whatever the
Yeah.
uh, and and I think in a lot of places you know, everyone just assumes everyone speaks English, and so they all speak English. You're like, okay, yeah, but the book it really they're going to have their own languages,
Mhm.
so they may
Yeah.
know English a little bit, but
Uh-oh. Joy goes, oh, I wanted to solve the world problems too.
well, if you read Ella Enchanted, I'm good. Well, you'll see part of them solved anyway.
Yes. Yeah. I think that was because in the book she mentions that she had what was it? One part was fairy. Mandy told her she had a bit of fairy in her. And I think that's how she was that was what made her be able to do the languages really good, was that bit of fairy in her.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah, that little bit of power. Yeah,
Yeah. And then of course her tiny feet. Mandy's like, yes, look at your feet. Look at mine. Look how tiny they are. That was so funny. That was
Yeah,
a funny part of the book about the tiny
yeah,
feet.
yeah, yeah,
And she
and
was able to wear the glass slippers.
yeah, the fit, yeah, they get the glass slippers, yeah.
Yeah, and
So,
then she lost one. Running away, run away.
well, I can't tell if this is Cinderella at all.
Except that there was 3 balls rather than just one.
Just one, yeah. There are three, yeah.
Yeah.
So, uh, that's But anyway, I enjoy it. I'm going to finish my reread of it, and I'm going to watch the movie
Mhm.
with my daughter. I think my daughter really liked the movie, so.
I know, and I think I'm pretty sure I read more of Gail's books, but I'm gonna go back and I think I'll reread them just because they're all part of that. They're all kind of connected to that
Right.
world, and I think it'll be just fun. And they're all kind of a fairy tale retelling. Like one of them is Snow White, I know, and there's another one I think that was a Rapunzel. No, not
Yeah.
Rapunzel. Yes.
Uh, I don't remember. I had that up a little bit ago, and I closed it. So on my browser.
Yeah.
But I do want to read Fairest, and because I think this is the only book I've read by her. So
Yeah, and probably when I start reading Fairest, I'll probably go, "Oh yes, I remember this." Yeah, Joyce says tiny feet help her to dance to Queen in the movie for sure. Yeah. Well, in the Giants, they kept saying, "Add some soul, dance."
Yeah.
So she kept having to change it up in the song, and that was funny. And
So
I think that didn't Anne Hathaway have some form of ballerina training or something?
she
Ballet?
she does. I think she's the musical training, like musical
Oh yeah.
performance.
Yes.
So
But that's why she danced more of the ballet style when she was dancing.
Right.
She was more,
Yeah.
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 But
So
anyway.
probably part of that. Yeah, she had some of that. So
Joy wants to know, are we talking about the Fairest or the Lunar Chronicles? Oh, well, we're actually discussing Ella Enchanted by Gail Carson Levine or
Levine, either Levine or Levine. I don't remember.
Yeah. Anyway, we're talking about Ella Enchanted and then the movie Ella Enchanted. Oh. But I don't know if it's a series. She wrote a lot of her other books set in that same world. So I guess you could call it kind of a series, but they're not really like go together.
A lot of people call that like a saga. Like if it's a
Yeah.
I mean, it may be in the same world, the same universe, but it's not the same characters necessarily. It's like Star Wars. There's some overlapping characters. That's a saga because it's about different generations of people. But
thank you, Kathy. Kathy said she loves her backdrop.
oh yes, I love that backdrop.
Yes,
Yeah.
we had to have a castle. Fairy tale.
You have the castle, and I'm in the dungeon. See, because of the.
I must come save you.
Yeah.
I must don my shield and sword and my helmet, and I will come and save you.
Yeah, my office wall kind of looks plain compared to your backdrop. So. Well, are there any other thoughts you have on it?
I don't know. Joy is saying, she says, "Oh, okay, just making sure what you were talking about." And I do like the Lunar Chronicles. Yes, the Lunar Chronicles are good. And just, I mean, not to get anybody's hopes up, but I have heard news that somebody is trying to make those into movies. Have you heard that, Jeremy?
I have not. So.
Sometime in the near future, probably not until like what, 2020? I mean 2022. 2020. Yeah, that's
I don't think
well,
I should throw 2020 out, of the, any movie filming thing. I was joking and saying with everything going on that 2021 is going to be the year of the animated movie because
oh yes,
there'll be a lot of animation.
That's funny. I like that. That's funny. Oh my goodness. Oh, Joy says, laugh out loud. Jeremy's getting a lot of light for being in a dungeon. At least he won't get scurvy.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Oh, that's funny.
It is. I almost called you Princess Peach and I'm Mario. I'm gonna go get you,
Yeah, well,
to find her in the dungeon,
yeah.
You remember
Princess
Super
Peach,
Mario
yeah.
Brothers? I
Yeah,
used
oh,
to
yeah, I
have
love
that.
Mario.
I used to have that as a kid. The Super Mario and Duck Hunt, the
Yeah,
two
I
together.
played those. I played those. I still play Super Mario, so that's the new ones that come out. So those are always fun.
Yes. Oh, Joy has heard that too, that they were thinking about making a movie
Oh,
from
cool.
the. All right. Yeah. Sweet.
Awesome.
Okay. Well, I am so sorry to our viewers who have just popped on a little late, but we are getting ready to wrap up. We've talked about everything. And as Jeremy said, we've solved the world's problems.
Yeah, go back. It's really interesting. Go back and watch again, and I'm sure we'll try to comment if you leave some comments about
Yes.
that. We'll
Yeah.
put our 2 cents in. Oh,
Definitely. All right. Well, thank you everybody for coming, and thank you, Jeremy, for joining me on season 2, episode 1 of
season.
Beyond the Book. Yay!
Yay! Thanks, Crystal, for having me. It was fun.
Yes, it is always fun.
So,
All right. Well, I'll see you later. Bye.
bye, everyone. I know.